I'm joined now by Ray Zucaro in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He's the Chief Investment Officer of RVX Asset Management, LLC, a company specializing in targeted investment across global markets. Ray, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So how timely is this 12th China-Latin American Business Summit given the current global trade climate? And what are Latin American countries and China both hoping to accomplish there?
Well, it is quite timely in the sense that there's a lot going on in the global trade war between the United States and China. And what is Latin America really kind of at the front line? And what I think is really interesting is what's going on in Latin America. You're seeing a much more proactive stance from the United States in overseeing what has traditionally been their backyard, as you correctly mentioned earlier. Latin America had been kind of ignored in previous administrations. And if you look at what's happened recently with Argentina and in terms of the IMF package receiving one of the largest standby facilities in its history, the U.S. is really backing a much more proactive stance in Latin America to really buff it, to really put a hedge on what's going on with China and in putting a sort of a stop to the Chinese influence.
So how much of an impact is the U.S.-China trade war having in that region? And do you think countries there see this as an opportunity?
You know, countries always see opportunities and try to benefit themselves. Look, you know, it's ironic that the trade war that's taking place between China and the United States is actually in some ways beneficial for Latin America. If you look at the price of soybeans, one of the largest exports of both Brazil and Argentina, they are higher because China has directed more of their purchases to South America. So look, they are potentially going to benefit, and again, Argentina specifically, with the size of the package that the IMF with the U.S. support has received, will potentially benefit from it.
So we know that China is already the largest trading partner of many Latin American countries. We've seen some joining the Belt and Road Initiative. So we're talking banking, infrastructure, business. What does the economic future hold, do you think, for China and all of these countries in the Americas?
Well, as you are well aware, the Belt and Road Initiative is to ensure China has access to resources. And as you correctly mentioned earlier, Latin America is a large producer of raw materials. You look at one of their largest investments in Latin America, specifically in Venezuela, specifically tied to the oil and industry. Again, I think that's what the U.S. is unhappy with. The activity, the financial capital that's taking place in, again, the U.S.'s backyard. I think you're going to see a much more proactive United States presence to help prop up and help provide capital and to sort of put a break on easy access from Chinese money.
I want to look ahead to another event taking place next week. A lot of people that are in town in China for the business summit are heading to Shanghai for the China International Import Expo, the first of its kind. Mexico and Chile sending huge delegations there. What are you looking for in this big event that is taking place there? What kind of business do you think will be accomplished there?
I think that's important, but I'm actually looking more forward to the G20 that's actually taking place in Argentina. You know, President Trump today tweeted that he's optimistic. You know, you can't be naive to the fact that U.S. has midterm elections coming up next week. So I think that's more of a barometer of what's going to drive the market. I think China and Mexico are looking to increase ties, or the economic ties, export ties to China. But for me, I'm looking more forward to the G20 later this month.
All right, looking forward to hearing your thoughts on that when it happens. Ray Zucaro, thank you for joining us.